All right, let's talk about the Kansas City Chiefs here, the 6-6 Kansas City Chiefs. They haven't lost 6 games in a season since, well, 2 years ago when they won the Super Bowl. So, okay, it's still not necessarily over for Kansas City, but ultimately, what is going on? And their offense, in many ways, had a great day. I think Mahomes continues to have a great season. But we are going to talk about the offense, the good things that happened in this game offensively, but ultimately the mistakes as well and why they weren't able to get the victory. Because, hey, we expect the Chiefs to, in a shootout, be able to win those matchups. This time they weren't. What happened? Well, first, let's talk some positives. I mean, you see it's a man coverage concept, and you can't just play a cover one man play against Patrick Mahomes, right? Because there's only one safety deep. He's going to be in coverage, paying attention to the guys he's supposed to cover. 5 guys are going to be playing man coverage, so they're paying attention to the guy they have to cover. Not enough people watching Mahomes. So what does Dallas do? Well, they'll have a spy on Mahomes, right? Simple enough. Let's just play it safe, make sure we have a guy on Mahomes, easy. Well, when Mahomes takes the snap, again, kind of doing what Mahomes does. Doesn't love what he sees, but no worries. Time to scramble up, see if he can make something happen. There's a spy, but it's just this little thing Mahomes does where he's kind of faking as though he's going to the top of the screen, right? That little fake, and then he cuts towards the left and just beats him. And I really don't think Mahomes gets enough credit for how good of a runner he is. I know he's not the fastest guy compared to like a Lamar Jackson or even a Josh Allen, but like he can cut so well and he moves so well, and especially for his size, it's just hard to keep up with. This play, it's a 4th down and goal at the 2-yard line. They're going for it. I think it's maybe worth mentioning. They don't do a great job at punching the ball in once they get to a 1st and goal. They had multiple 4th down and goal touchdowns in this game, but nonetheless, you see Kelsey's route kind of trying to get into a gap in coverage sort of towards the back of the end zone. Mahomes is going to take the snap, and what happens here is a Dallas linebacker picks up Kelsey. The issue is his back is completely turned towards Mahomes, right? And so for Mahomes, this is simple. Kelsey can play the ball, the linebacker can't. Watch him just throw it over the linebacker, let Kelsey make the tough grab, and they're able to pick up a touchdown right there. Again, that stuff's automatic. So we definitely saw plenty of these positives in the game for Patrick Mahomes and for the Kansas City Chiefs. But again, it was not all positives. And I know that probably the bigger takeaway is going to be what happened to the Chiefs defense, but I think it's still fair to bring up the issues that happened offensively. So like this play to me is a perfect example of what went wrong when things went wrong. Because again, for the Chiefs, they really only had 3 scoring drives. I mean, they had technically 4, but one was a very short field where they already started in field goal range. They had a good points per drive, but in terms of like scoring points on a drive percentage, it was a little bit low. Why? Well, a play like this, for example, Mahomes is going to take the snap, and you see the rookie left tackle right here, number 71, is holding. And this is something that has just been an issue for the Chiefs is, listen, Jawan Taylor's always had his penalty stuff, but I do feel like for as bad as the left tackle situation was, they weren't committing as many infractions. And but I mean, as a team, they weren't committing as many infractions. Here, it feels like they're committing more, so you're getting the holding penalties. And this play actually is going to show kind of both instances of why that's wrong on the same play, because watch how Mahomes throws it down the field and there's just nothing down the field. And this is exactly kind of the issue is A, they're committing too many penalties, and B, they don't have downfield passing. The Chiefs last season didn't have downfield passing, but they were so good at the dink and dunk stuff. Something like this, which they can still do. They did it in this game. What's going to happen here is it's going to be a, 4th down and 1, big play. I mean, down just 3 points at this point. If they give Dallas the ball at midfield, maybe they're able to punch it in and make it a 2-score game, and that's going to be really tough. You see that, the Chiefs have been great at these kind of Kareem Hunt up the middle plays. This time they're going to fake it. Watch as Mahomes is going to fake the handoff, hits Jared Wiley, only a 2nd career catch, but he picks up the catch on 4th down and 1. It also kind of goes to show how important this game is for the Chiefs. Usually they don't burn these plays until the playoffs, but it kind of is the playoffs now, right? They got to convert. They do here on this play. But ultimately, this was the Chiefs last year, right? Is let's, get a lot of 3rd and shorts, even some 4th and shorts, we'll convert those. Like, that's our goal, is we don't necessarily need to get the 1st down on 1st or 2nd down. As long as we're, having a 3rd and short, we'll be okay, because they don't get the downfield passing, right? But the issue is now there's more stuff like this, where this is a 3rd down and 6 situation, and you see they're going to run a rub route. A rub route is something that they've been so effective at over the years. It's going to be Xavier Worthy kind of running the pick. And again, there's a difference between a pick and a rub route. Rub routes are illegal, pick plays are not. Mahomes takes the snap, Xavier Worthy is going to go out, and essentially, what's the difference between a legal play and an illegal play? Well, you can't make an act that is solely designed to get in somebody's way, but you can simply run your route even if that gets in somebody's way. But for Worthy, look at this. I mean, he just runs right into the defender. That's an easy pick play. Now you're going 10 yards backwards, and instead of converting to 3rd and 6, so you're not hitting these as consistently, but they're also committing too many infractions. They're getting further back to where they can't even do the dink and dunk stuff, and they find themselves in holes. So let's go over to something like this. Well, how can they get explosives? There's really 2 ways they still get explosives. Because again, you don't have to be perfectly clean if you can get these 15-plus yard plays, right? You don't have to run 12-play drives. Last season, the Chiefs actually ran more plays per drive than any team in football, which is kind of a good thing and a bad thing. The ideal drive is a 1-play drive that results in a touchdown, obviously, right? So, like right here, 3rd down and 3, this is one way they can get explosives. Mahomes takes the snap. You see that there is good protection here, and just essentially, it's a schemed-up play where Kareem Hunt, starting from the offense's right, goes to the offense's left. Mahomes is going to hit him. They started that play at the 45-yard line, able to get over 20 yards. They can get some explosives this way, which is, I don't know how repeatable it is, but it is a thing that they can do. And then also, this is the other way that they get explosives is just like Mahomes being Mahomes. It's a 3rd down and 6 on this one. Huge spot in the game, down 10 points, right? Mahomes takes the snap. He's going to, immediately be under pressure. Quinnen Williams trying to create some pressure right here, but this is what Mahomes can do, right? Watch him get out of that, maintains his balance, gets around another player, throws before falling down, and you see somehow the Dallas blows this coverage. Xavier Worthy ends up completely wide open. There is those Mahomes magic plays. Watch as, of course, this throw is complete. They're able to get a big completion. They end up, making it just a 3-point game. Those are kind of the 2 ways they can get explosives. But again, it's schemed up stuff, and oftentimes, a defensive mistake, or it's, a play like this, a Mahomes making a miracle play, but it's just not happening. You just can't rely on that, I guess. Ultimately, a play like this is exactly the issue. 3rd down and 8. They're down just 7 points with 9.5 minutes left. They just had a touchdown on the last drive. Keep it going. It's a shootout. Okay, let's play a shootout. Teams have beaten Dallas in shootouts this season, 5 times it feels like. Mahomes takes the snap. He's going to eventually find Rashee Rice, and Rashee Rice is simply going to drop the football. And again, this team was built last year around not doing this, not making these types of mistakes, right? Now they're making these types of mistakes. And when you make these types of mistakes, the lack of deep ball accuracy is an issue. The lack of having a deep ball receiver is an issue. It's not saying that it's a disaster. Hey, they haven't been a disaster this year. They're 6-6. They're 500. But that's a disaster given what we're used to seeing from them. So to me, the biggest thing they have to do is, I don't think they're going to figure out the deep ball stuff in these next 5 games. So what they're going to have to do is clean up these mistakes, clean up these penalties, and find ways to still make things work. Or maybe just Mahomes will have to put on the Superman cape and get those explosives anyways. But yeah, those are kind of my thoughts right now. What are yours? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.